Alrighty guys, welcome back to another LEGO set review from BrickByBrick, and today we have set number 8423. This is the LEGO Cars 2 World Grand Prix Racing Rivalry, which was released in the May 2011 LEGO Cars wave. This was a $15 set with 136 pieces and 2 cars, and yeah, it was a normally released set. I think it may have been a retail exclusive to like Toys R Us or Target or something, but I don't quote me on that because I am not completely certain. However, I did not get this set back when it was first released. I recently acquired it when I was buying another car set. Actually, I saw a lot that had this and that other one for cheaper than it would cost to just buy the other one, and this was one that I hadn't had yet, so I was like, sure, I guess, can't hurt to just grab this while I'm there. But this does not have anything exclusive in it aside from the stickers, so it wasn't something that I was really gonna go out of my way to get. I think the most interesting thing that come out of this is this Francesco car build figure thing. I still don't really know what to call these, but I guess we'll just call them cars because they are cars, right? This was only otherwise available in the $90 Tokyo International Circuit set, so for people who didn't buy that one, this was a pretty cheap way to get it. However, in the next year, in the small 2012 wave, they had several sets that were just a single car that I think were $7 or maybe $8, and one of them was Francesco Borgoulli, and it was a slightly updated and better version of him. So, if you didn't want to buy this set, and you waited a year, you'd be able to get Francesco by himself, a better one, for cheaper. So, just keep that in mind. The eyes and mouth here are fine. Mine, there's a little bit of printing running off there, which, I got it used, so I'm not going to complain too much. But I did notice that happened, or started to happen, with the one I own from Tokyo International Circuit too. So far, the one that I've gotten from the 2012 one, that one is still fine, but I also got that more recently, so I've obviously been more careful with it because, I wasn't playing around with it. So I still may go out of my way and buy a new one of this piece, just to replace that on at least one of my 2 copies of this figure. But yeah, it's a fine thing. I like the overall shaping for him. Maybe this section is a little bit too white, but it's overall, for what it is, I think that it is pretty good. I do like on the 2012 one, they give you a Ka-Chow McQueen bumper, and I think that is significantly better than this here, but still, this is pretty good for the size and, for the scale that they were going for. This Cars 2 version of Lightning McQueen was even more common than Francesco was, and it appeared in a total of 3.5 sets. One of the sets was the 2012 Ultimate Racing set, which had the same, aside from this right here, the hood had a different print on that one, and I guess this also had a different print in that one as well. But I do like the printing overall for this guy. I like the gold and white wheels; those are kind of cool. And yeah, the mouth is a little bit weird on this one. I don't know. I don't really love that facial expression, but still, it's fine. I don't hate it. The eyes are really good, and you do even have printing up here, as well as this printed 1x4 World Grand Prix tile in the back, and powered by All in All. And yeah, with all of the cars in the Cars sets, everything on the actual car characters was a print, aside from some of the larger buildable ones, like Mac. All of his detailing on the trailer was all stickers, but a majority of the stuff that you got there was prints. So that's good, and I think that this guy looks pretty reasonably fine. So yeah, I do think I probably preferred the Cars 1 version of him over this, mainly for that mouth, but it's not a bad thing by any means. And aside from the start or finish line build, the only other thing included was this All in All little sign, which is a pretty decent logo sticker. The one that I got was peeling off a little. I was able to pull it off the piece and move it upwards, but you still got a little bit of folding over there because it had been overlapping the edge of the part. Which, yeah, don't want to complain too much about it because this was essentially free since I was just trying to buy the other thing that it came with, but still, you know, as far as just a side build in the set, you know, you'll be able to put this on the side of your racetrack and have a little sponsor billboard, and yeah, that's cool, I guess, you know. A nice thing to add in if they were just gonna, you know, if they had a little bit of extra parts budget, you know, and this is good enough, I guess. And here's our little starting line slash finish line, and you know, the majority of it is centered around these supports, and then you just have the build that goes across the center. So these two sets of racing lines to create kind of the borders. The weird thing to me is that they tell you to build this sub-assembly twice, and you know, exactly the same, and they tell you to attach it like that, so it just looks kind of awkward like that. You'd think that they would have told you to either move this over or move that over, but whichever one you prefer, you're very, very easily able to change it. So, you know, I kind of think I like to stick with the wider one, just because it gives you a little bit more space, because one of the minor issues that I have with the set is just that there isn't that much space between the two. You have a little tiny bit of room to move them side to side without them kind of crashing into each other, but still, you know, I maybe would have preferred a slightly wider thing, which you could do. You just have to remove that Technic axle, and you could spread it out a little bit more, like 2 studs more, which I think would have been perfectly fine, and that would have made it seem like there's plenty of space there. But yeah, this seems thin for a race starting line. But up here we do have a little bit of a kind of assembly with flags up here. We got the Italian flag, which, you know, is just a single sticker on one side, and then we do have the checkered flag, which is a single sticker, even though they did have a printed version around this time. May have had a different number of squares or something, but yeah, I do also like the World Grand Prix logo on that shield. It's kind of a shame that my sticker is a little bit off-centered, but I'm not going to mess with it to try and fix it. And they did also include this clock up here, which is 2607, which they did also have a printed clock. So I guess it's cool that they introduced a stickered version that looks pretty much the same, like same kind of style, just with different numbers. So, you know, that's probably a pretty decently useful sticker. And then underneath you do have the racing lights with the red and the green, and yeah, that's pretty much all there is to that. If you look this around and show you the back, you can hide the racing lights if you want to, and that's pretty much the only feature of this thing. And from the back, it doesn't look too special or anything. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this. So yeah, this was almost sort of like a racing starter set for the LEGO Cars 2 line. And for that, I think it's perfectly fine. I think the value is reasonable here for $15. You know, if you have everything else from the Wave, then you're probably not going to care about this, and $15 will just be kind of a little bit of a waste of money, because especially if you have the Tokyo International Circuit set, you don't need this at all. There's nothing new here. Like, you get an extra starting line, which I guess if you didn't want to make your racetrack a loop, then, you know, I guess it'd be kind of cool to have a different starting and ending. But other than that, you know, again, there's nothing. Like, you could throw this on the side of your Tokyo International Circuit, and yeah, that's cool, I guess, but you're really not going to want 2 Francescos or 2 Lightning McQueens on the same racetrack. So, you know, it's up to you. I guess you could also use this to make a different racetrack, you know, like the Italian one from the movie, I guess, if you wanted to do that. But, you know, you don't really have a ton here. You'd have to use a lot from your own collection as well. So, again, even then, I don't know if this is worth getting if you have the other stuff. But if you don't, this was a really good way to start off a Cars 2 collection, I guess, with, you know, the 2 main racers in the movie, and a little build to start them off. So, you know, again, for $15, I think the value is here, but the set is a little bit redundant if you have everything else. And, you know, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me know down in the comments as well. And alternatively, you could just leave a like on the video. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everyone.